Welcome back. This is the third subtopic of circulation, configuration of the path. I have briefed you in the beginning only that what is configuration of the path. Where we move in time through sequence of spaces. So while we are moving, we are forming some configuration of our movement of our say path. So let us read what the book says. All paths of movement, whether of people, cars, goods or services, they are linear in nature. So that means nothing is curvilinear. When we talk about curvilinear, it again has some straight lines which are very small segments and joined together to form a curve. On all the paths they have a starting point and a destination. The contour of the path depends on the mode of our transportation. While we as pedestrians can turn, pause, stop and rest at will, bicycle will have less freedom and a car even less. That means while we as individuals we are moving along any path or any direction. So if somebody calls you or calls your name from behind and then you stop suddenly. So it doesn't take much time for you to stop, look back, turn around, decide whether to go back or go ahead, etc. etc. But once like you are in bicycle or car, you will take some time for stopping, for pausing, for turning, etc. etc. So the ultimate freedom lies in the pedestrian movement, right? Because it is some individual which can turn, organism which can turn in any direction, whereas cars and bicycles, they are not organisms, they are actually the means of transportation. Interestingly, though, while a wheeled vehicle may require a path with smooth contours that reflect its turning radius, the width of the path can be tailored tightly to its dimensions. Pedestrians, on the other hand, they are able to tolerate abrupt changes in direction. Right? Next, intersection of or crossing of paths is also very important, because when we are moving in any street, we are just say we are bypassing certain places, certain say row of shops, or it could be row of houses, and then suddenly like we come across certain say 90-degree turns or 90-degree streets, which are cross streets, maybe in this form, maybe in this form, maybe in any form. So when we are coming across these crossings, we, as a stranger, if we are not familiar with the place, we will take some time. We will take some time to decide now where to go. Where are we coming from and where should we go? Right? Unless you know the way, right? Because you would know, you would take little time to decide your way. The continuity and scale of each path at an intersection can help us to distinguish between major routes. That means, as an individual, as a human being, you will always try to follow bigger routes, major routes, but you will not follow the small gullies or little narrow lanes, etc., etc. So if somebody says you follow this route and then take right, so you will automatically like take this right. If there is a lane which is coming just before that, you will not tend to turn into that lane, because that lane could be a narrower lane. It would not direct you to the right way. But this broader lane is directing you to the right way, so you will follow this only. When the paths at the crossings they are equivalent to each other, sufficient space should be given for people to pause and orient themselves. So that is why like we have bigger crossings. We have crossings which have larger areas where people can decide where to go, whether to take this turn, next exit or third exit, depending on their choice of the direction in which they are going. The form and scale of entrances and paths should also convey the function and symbolic distinction between public promenades, private halls, and service corridors. That means service corridors, they are supposed to be narrow. The promenades, they have to be a little wider. So this is how you decide upon the width of the pathways. Then in the configuration of the path, it is also there they have mentioned the different types of configurations which you would follow. One is linear, radial, spiral, grid, network, then composite. Composite means it could be like mix of all. So next, first is linear. Linear, as you know that the paths, all paths are linear. A straight path can be the primary organizing element for a series of spaces. In addition, it can be curvilinear or segmented. Like I said, the curvilinear is again made up of small segments of straight lines, so it is segmented. Second is radial, where it is shown here how the radial paths they follow. The linear path could be say read as a long national highway or a state highway, whereas the radial path can be read as say you are in say Lutyens Delhi, India Gate, or Connaught Place, where everything is radiating out, like Barakamba Road and other roads, etc., etc. So this is the example of linear planning or linear configuration of paths. When we are talking about planning, we are bringing roads into picture. So roads, they are nothing but paths. So we can relate it to configuration of paths also. Third is spiral, which was taught to you in Ronchamp, the way like Le Corbusier he had proposed the approach to the building in the form of spiral approach. Fourth is grid. Best example, as all of you know, it is Chandigarh, where the grid planning is seen in the planning of Chandigarh. Fifth is network, like it is some satellite, some network, some nodes they are formed, and that is how you connect to the nodes and go further. And last is composite. So here are certain examples which you can go through, like linear planning, linear configuration of path, or it is say this tramp movement is shown in this Richard Mayer's house, where like the section defines the configuration of the path in zigzag manner. Then this is Shodan house again, zigzag pattern in the form of ramps. Please try to remember these sketches. You have to practice them for exam. This is, what is this? This is again zigzag, or it could be like network also. This is radial. This is one of the cities in Germany, but you can also take example of Lutyens Delhi. So this is Guggenheim Museum, which shows the configuration of the path is designed in spiral manner. Gridiron, and this is network configuration, where the planning is done in such a manner that different nodes or different meeting points they are formed at various directions. So in order to connect them, you form certain connecting paths. So that is the network configuration, because you forming a network. This is the plan of Washington DC, which is a good example of network configuration. That's it. Next is path space relationship. I will cover up in the next slide. Thank you.